guys, what's up? It's me, Sam, aka Starjax. Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Something that I wanted to do though, so I thought about this literally on the fly last night to do as a video today. So we are going to be ranking on this tier list maker. We're going to be ranking the my personal opinion on the Assassin's Creed video games. Now this is probably my favorite video game franchise of all time. Like it mixes two of my favorite things, history and video games, and I just really like the style of the game. So these games I'm going to rank based on where I put them. I'm going to elaborate on them, what I like, what I dislike about them, and kind of like why, kind of comprehensive of why I gave them the rating I did. So obviously, what way to start than the first game? I think we're going to put Assassin's Creed 1 in A tier. I mean, it's the first game of the franchise, so there was still a bunch of learning curves and stuff that they had to figure out. Because a fun fact, it was actually supposed to be its own game. It was supposed to be a, a Prince of Persia game, but then Ubisoft thought, oh, well, we could just make our own game about an assassin. So obviously you got the protagonist Altair. What I really like about the first Assassin's Creed game is because, it focused on stealth mainly. If you've played any of the Assassin's Creed games, stealth and parkour have been like two heavy components of that game. The hidden blades like a new way to like kill people in games and stuff. So obviously, like I like the story. Assassin, he loses his rank because he goes against order, so he's got to rebuild himself. The only thing I don't like about it is it got a little bit repetitive. But that's because it was the first game, and I think they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do for it. This one takes place during the Third Crusade. A lot of the missions were repetitive because, like, you did the same stuff, killed enemies, had to get the 9 kills and stuff, and then obviously you have the real world Animus, where Desmond was trying to fight against the Templars there and stuff. So I like the subplot. I'm going to put it in A. Assassin's Creed 2 now. I'm a sucker for anything in the Ezio world. Assassin's Creed 2, I'm going to put an S tier. It was a really great game. I like the story. Ezio, you know, kind of had a little charisma to him. He lost his family, or he lost his father and his brothers. They got hung and executed for treason, and so Ezio had to learn so and his father was a hidden assassin, so he had to learn the ways of how to be an assassin from his uncle. He met all these friends, Leonardo da Vinci, trying to stop the Templar, trying to find the Apple of Eden, finds out, and this one really divulged from the first one because Ezio could swim now, could do a lot more. There was a lot of side missions too that you could do that overall made the experience fun. I liked the period 2 Renaissance era, so getting to see like Italy and see all of the see everything that like Italy had to offer at that time. So, and like I said, just the side missions too really keeps you in the loop. I really liked the story. Ezio as a character was very relatable in the real world. So then I'm gonna do it based on order. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, same thing as the first one. I like the story. Siege of Italy, got to go to Rome. Ezio recruits assassins, becomes like the mentor, becomes like the leader of the assassins. You can recruit assassins now. You got to stop the Borgia regime in Rome because from getting the pieces of Eden and stuff, and Desmond's story continues too with the whole end of the world thing possibly imminent. And overall, this one added more like really fun combat. So did the second one. These ones both had really fun combat that I liked. And the combat, especially for all three of these, was really smooth and really fun. Gave you a little bit of a challenge too, so that's what I really liked about it. Not much else to say. I think Brotherhood might be in my opinion, maybe the second greatest of these. You'll see my first in a bit. Revelations, I'm gonna put in A. I mean, it wasn't as good as the first two, but it was still really good. It connected Altair and Ezio story. Basically, Ezio goes to Masyaf and goes to Altair's homeland and, finds assassins there. He's got to, hunt down keys to find like this library that Altair built because his father and stuff, because Ezio's father and stuff wrote these letters and stuff and founded it in Italy. So find where the Brotherhood started, or find where like Altair was, because Altair was a heavily like important assassin. So being able to connect the two together, the two protagonists together, it was really fun. I liked the side. I liked that you could play as Altair too for some missions and like cover like his story as well. And then at the end, when the two of them come to get, when Ezio meets Altair, sorry for spoiling, but like they, like it was well done. It wasn't as good as these two because like I felt like at times kind of it got a little repetitive, but I did like some of the new things they added. They added like a grappling hook. They added like a grappling hook feature too, so I thought that was really cool. Moving on, Assassin's Creed 3, I'm gonna put in A tier or A tier. It was good. It was good. I'm gonna put more low A. It was good. I like the story. Connor, native or indigenous tribe member. He has to, you know, his village gets burned down so he winds up joining the Assassin's cause, finding that his father is actually a Templar, and they try to align and get killed and stuff. And it takes place obviously in colonial America, so it was really fun to see an Assassin's Creed game take place in like the colonial period. So I really liked it. I liked that. What I liked is that you could climb through trees and stuff too now, because like obviously early America had a lot of like wildlife and a lot of the ancient stuff. So being able to do that, but I felt like the story at times was a little too flat. I thought not too flat, but like I just thought it was really long and like dragged out. You really didn't get to like what the overall mission was until way later. But I still thought it was a fun game. Black Flag, greatest Assassin's Creed game ever. I like Edward Kenway. He's a badass. He, privateer turned pirate turned assassin. Combat's still really fluid. You get to, drive. You get to sail the seas. You get to sail the seas. You get to, you know, use a gun heavily more too. New ways of combat. All that stuff. Story's really great. Edward has to, you know, sail the seas. He's got to, hunt down in the age of piracy. Which is funny because Edward is actually Connor's grandfather, so these two kind of tie in together. I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun to play. Black Flag. I got stuck at a mission because it's really hard, but I was able to get past it, and it's a really really fun game. Really really fun. Oh, I forgot about this one. I'm gonna put this Liberation C. I didn't play it. I didn't play it, so I don't really got an opinion, but I've I, but I've heard decent things about it, so that's why it's going in C and not B. Rogue. Rogue, I'm gonna put B because I didn't play a lot of it, but the gameplay I've seen, I really like the story. Shay Patrick Cormac, assassin turned Templar. He grew disillusioned with the assassins, so he joined the Templars and started hunting down all the colonial assassins. So like these three kind of tie in together. They're in like that age of piracy, colonial era America, and then Shay, gets inducted to the Templars and stuff. But I liked it because it gave you a different concept. It kind of reminded me of Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars, where where he turns against his allies to and then starts wiping them out one by one for an ultimate goal. But it felt like a reskin of Black Flag, and it didn't feel like really anything changed all too much. So I think it could have been a little bit better in that regard. But yeah, Unity, Unity, I didn't hate Unity, but I didn't love it either. Like I like the story, Arno, is trying to find his place. He lost everything, but he's trying to find his place as an assassin. It takes place in during the French Revolution. I like Arno as a character. I just gameplay wise, I couldn't find myself into the game too much. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I just don't think it's a game that like I could spend playing as much as like these six. Syndicate, I'm only putting in D. I'm putting in D only because I didn't play it, but I've seen good things about it. I mean, I'll play it eventually, but I've heard good things about it, so that's kind of what. But so actually, I'll put it in C because like I've heard good things about it, but I haven't actually played it. Freedom Cry, I've heard iffy, so I'm just gonna put it in D. I've heard iffy about it, and this is where things start to kind of go off a bit. So Origins, I know this might be catching a little flack, but I'm gonna put Origins in C. And when they released Origins, they kind of went away from like what made Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed. They kind of switched it from like the stealth base to like RPGs. So like you had like harder, you had like harder enemies, like you could upgrade your weapons. There was a lot more side missions and stuff. And they added hours upon hours of gameplay. There's different. They completely overhauled like the fighting mechanics and stuff, and they added like these powers and stuff. So it's not a bad game. Like I enjoyed it. I just don't like the combat portion of it. I like Bayek, I like the main protagonist of the game a lot. I just don't like the gameplay of it. Like it just wasn't it's just not my thing. Although I would play it again if it Odyssey. Now I'm kind of contradicting myself. Odyssey, because these are prequels to the main games, like obviously Origins, is like the origins of the Hidden Ones or the later later the Assassin Order. So I really so yeah, but Odyssey, is a prequel even to Origins. It takes place in obviously ancient Greece. You get Cassandra, Alexios, Cassandra. If you play as I play as Cassandra mainly, so her brother dies and stuff, gets reincarnated, whatever, and then by this point too, the focus is on Layla Hassan, she's like the person now after Desmond died in Assassin's Creed 3, so like that and Cassandra, being able to find a staff that like kept her alive for so long. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought again though, the gameplay is more smoothly than it was in Origins to Combat is. I just again, too much for me. Valhalla. Valhalla I didn't play. I've heard it's really long though, and that the combat's kind of clunky. That's why I'm putting it in D. So, like, yeah. Mirage went back to the roots, but I've heard really nothing but iffy things about it. So, I'm putting it in F. Same with Shadows. Shadows I don't know enough about. So I'm just going to put it in F because I didn't know about it. And yeah, so this is kind of my ranking for how I would rank the Assassin's Creed games. Uh-oh. So we don't want to do that yet. So yeah, if you guys like what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And before I do that, if you want to see more of these like tier list videos, drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.